Hello, thanks very much for joining me again today. This week's river pattern is a little utility fly for the trout. So without further ado, let's get into it. So in the vise we have a Hanak H200 barbless hook, and that's at size 14. This is a heavy wire hook and it's in black nickel. I've coupled that together with a Hanak 2.3 tungsten bead. As you can see, it's a copper. Now initially I'm going to start with Glow Bright number 6, but I'll be changing threads part of the way through. So before I do anything else, I'm just going to get a little bit of wax onto my Glow Bright, just to give the shank of the hook a good bed. So I'll start in behind the eye and bring it all the way up. Now just a little tip, don't put so much wax on your Glow Bright as that it will discolour your silk here. You want that to be nice and vibrant. So I'm going to bring that all the way to the back, and I can see now that I've come off the waxed part and I've come just beyond the barb of the hook there. And what I'm going to do is make a small rugby ball just at the back here to give the fly a little bit of a hot spot, and then I'm going to, in open turns, come all the way back up just behind my bead, and I'm going to put a couple of half hitches in to just cast off the Glow Bright. I can take that away. Now before I cast on my second thread, I could at this point just cast on and carry on tying, but what I like to do with this bit here is just put a little bit of UV resin on it, and it doesn't need any protection, but what it does is it just makes it all a little bit brighter and it stands out. So I'll just add a little bit of UV resin. Just going to open my vise so that I can see what I'm doing. Work it all the way around. Doesn't take much. Then I can come in with my torch and cure that off. Now the other option doing this is obviously with some of the coloured UV resins, which I've done on some of my other videos, but I just thought I'd show you this other way, because not everyone goes out and buys all the latest resins and stuff to use for fly tying. So I just want to show you some different ways of achieving the same effect. And this is how, you know, before the advent of UV resins and the colours, this is how I would get this kind of effect on my flies. So next I'm ready to cast on my next thread, which is the Fish On Ultimate Tying Silk, and as you can see, it's a sort of off-white colour. Doesn't make any difference because the thread's going to be buried inside the pattern. So I'm just going to catch that on. No need to add super glue at this juncture, because I've already got a bed of floss down, which the floss will sit on no problem at all, unlike the bare shank of a hook. So I'll just remove my waste there, and next I want to add my tail. I'm using some Coq de Leon here. This little pack here is from Troutline. Lovely barred feather. I think I've shown you it many times before. I'm a big fan of this for river patterns, tails. It's very soft and you get a lot of movement with it in the water. So I'm taking about 8 to 10 barbs. I want quite a nice bushy tail on this, and I'm going to show it up to the hook. And I want it to protrude roughly a centimetre past my orange hotspot. So I'm fairly happy with that. I'm going to clamp down on it with my thumb and forefinger in my left hand and just get a couple of wraps in. Try and keep the tail directly on the top of the shank. So you'll have noticed when I turned there that this waist piece was trying desperately to pull round. You've got to control that tail fibre in and make sure it comes directly at the back of the shank, or what will happen is it will bend round and your tail will be coming out of the side of your hot spot, and you don't want that. So that's going not so bad. Next I want to add a flashback. I'm going to use some flat tinsel. This one's from Lure Flash, and it's like a pearl lurex sort of stuff. The old fashioned stuff before Mylar came along and changed the world. So I've already taken a little bit of that off, and I'm just going to capture that in. You want to have it coming right off the back of the hook, off the shank, sitting on the top, and once you've caught that in, you can then bring in your wire rib. Now I'm going to be using the Vineyard French Gold. It's number 27 if you're interested, and it's a very subtle gold rib, and it's quite thin. So I have got some of that ready at the side here, and I'm going to capture that in, like so. Okay, I'm going to run that up the entire length of the body, just open turns to hold it into place, and then I can park my thread. So next I want to use some pheasant tail. So I've got a really nice one here. It's you'll notice that it's got really long fibres, and that just makes it a little bit easier to work with. Some people rip it away. I like to cut it with my scissors. So I've already cut a bit off, and I'm going to catch the tips in at the back here, a couple of turns, and then I can just bring my thread all the way back up just to behind the bead. Now if you've got shorter fibres to work with, you can use some hackle pliers, but this is lovely and long, so I'm just going to use my fingers, and I find it a lot easier using my fingers to do this than I do. It's not worked out quite right. I'll go back. And let's get back on track. And try and avoid the point of the hook. That'll spoil your day. And bring your fibres all the way up to the base of the hook. Now I like to bring it right in hard up to the bead. Note that it's essential because we're going to add a little collar to this fly that will hide all this, but just if you were going to not bother with the collar, or you fancy tying a variation of the pattern, you want to try and get this as close as you can to the seat of the bead. So I'm just going to now come in with my snips and remove my waist. See a little bit hanging over on your side. Just get rid of that. It's not essential, as I say. That's going to be all covered up by the collar. So next then, I'm going to bring my flash back over, and I'm going to capture that in. So it's really been unruly, this stuff today. Just get a couple of turns in with that, and once it's in place, I can just come in front of that and remove my waist. And then of course the wire ribs free to come up and over the back. Now I like to get between 3 and 4 turns of the body. That's 3, and then the 4th one, which will be hidden pretty much by my collar that I'm going to add. So a couple of turns there, just to hold the wire rib in place. Get in front of the rib and keep tension on your thread. Just twist that away. Okay, that's looking not too bad now. Tastes splayed out lovely. Now next, I'm going to use some of this stuff. It's from Troutline, and it's the March Brown hair dubbing. Very, very thin, and I'm only going to take just the slightest amount. So you can see I've hardly got any here. In fact, that's probably too much. I'm going to just remove some of that as well. So a tiny little bit of dubbing, and what I want to do next is open up my thread to create myself a little dubbing loop. Like so, and then I can just slip that in with my fingers. There's no need for a clip. You're using so little, it makes no difference. So it's just as easy to use your fingers. I'll spin that up, and even that is far too much dubbing for me. So I'm just going to come in with my fingers and remove quite a bit of it. So once that's in place, you can then come over, couple of turns, slick it all back, and before you finish up, just add a little bit of UV resin to your thread. This will make sure that it doesn't go anywhere once it starts bouncing the bottom. And then if you've got the skills for whip finish, you can pop your thread in and then remove it. Don't forget to give it a blast with a UV torch. That's how resin works. If you don't cure it, it won't be secure. And there we go. That's that done. I hope that was of some use to you and you enjoyed the pattern. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so, and I'll see you all next time.